make sure you watch Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics on Facebook and follow them on Instagram.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. I am Dennis, and this is my co-host Teresa.
Hi guys.
And this is an end game, so to speak,
It is an end game, yeah.
for Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. It's not permanently going away, but this is the last regular weekly episode, I guess you would say.
Yeah. I was trying to describe it as like the last official day.
Yes.
And then it starts into our new schedule. And then Den can pursue his show.
Yeah, this was just a month for that, between Endgame, Game of Thrones last night, Cobra Kai, which I know you didn't watch the video yet.
I didn't watch the video.
I know it's tough for that 5-minute video. You had 2 weeks, but that was a crazy season, man. I binge watched it, and that finale and that was another, just craziness. So
The only thing that I got to see was Game of Thrones last night, and it was awesome. I haven't seen Endgame yet, so nobody...
Yeah, we're not going to...
Nobody mess it up for me.
I'm going to go off on a rant.
Tony
I'm going to give you a
and I
little
are
taste
going
of the Newman
Saturday.
show tonight and show you what it's going to be about.
I expected it. Go for it.
But anyway, so last week we were just kind of talking about stuff, and we're going to do that again and wrap it up. What I would like to do, and I didn't ask him yet, and I meant to text you earlier, I'd like to have Will come on our first show, because that would give everybody a month to see Endgame, and then we can give it a proper wrap up with a pro, because Will knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And if he can't do it, I have plenty of alternates for it.
I think that's a great idea.
Someone's really got another comics too to
really talk about it.
because they're, and this is not a spoiler for it, but this is the end of this chapter of Marvel movies. Well, technically, the Spider-Man one, I think, is supposed to be wrapping up the phase 4 of the Marvel movies, which, again, is not a secret. It's been all over the internet. But now they're going to be starting a new wave of Marvel movies and potential new characters and stuff like that. And there was a lot of rumors of who's going to be coming out and not coming out. So, like I said, Will knows a lot about that stuff. So
I'm going Saturday with Tony, so nobody fucking up.
And the movie itself was great. The 3 hours did not seem like 3 hours, I will say that.
I know a lot of people were complaining about the time, but I'm looking forward to the long movie.
Watching paint dry for 3 hours is boring. Watching an action movie for 3 hours, if it's done correctly, is fun.
Yeah, especially if it's a movie that or a franchise or whatever you want to call it that you're really into. It's fun, especially because it is Endgame and it is the end of so much. You'd expect it to be long and
I'll tie it
tie up all the loose ends.
To last night with Game of Thrones. That was the longest battle I think ever. It was ever on TV, and I think also in the movie, but. The reason why they broke it up the way they did is because nobody would want to sit there for an hour and a half and watch a battle.
Totally.
People think they do, but after a while it's like, enough of this.
Yeah.
So you need to cut back and forth and have different stories within the story.
Totally.
And I think Endgame did that very well. I think they did a nice job of recapping the last 11 years and closing a lot of stories and opening others.
Right.
So, again, everyone knew that was going
That's
to happen.
Cool, though. I'm really looking forward to it on Saturday. I'm really nervous that Facebook is going to ruin it for me, because when I woke up this morning...
There are spoilers everywhere.
I was kind of blown away by the crazy amount of Game of Thrones spoilers all over Facebook. And not just my friends, by
by actual sites too,
yeah,
posting stuff with
Insider
silhouettes of people which you knew.
So much stuff.
Yeah.
It
Game
really
of Thrones
blew
websites,
my mind.
which pissed me off too.
And
Give people a couple of days to see
Yeah,
it.
it didn't bother me because I got to see it, but if I had work that night or whatever, it would bother me because you couldn't get away from it. It was
There's
everywhere.
nothing wrong with jumping on the bandwagon
internet.
and being first to report something.
Totally.
But there's ways to have a blank page saying, hey, last night was crazy. If you want to read, click here, warning spoilers ahead. And a lot of sites did do that and were very good with it.
A lot of sites did do that, but
Others
a lot of sites
told
didn't.
you exactly what was going on.
Literally in the title, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody watching right now, I'm a hypocrite, but literally in the title, it told you what happened and it had the picture, and it was what? Totally ruined it.
So I don't want to wait a month to talk about last night, so we'll see. Maybe the last 10 minutes or so of the show, last 5-10 minutes of the show, we'll devote to Game of Thrones. But we'll give you plenty of warning before we give any spoilers away, because it was just an insane episode.
It was really good.
And I have a couple of rants I want to go off of about spoilers and about non-watchers of Game of Thrones. But let's get into our advertisers first. Pay some bills here. And we want to give a shout out to Frank, who's shooting darts tonight at Gentry's in Hicksville for the Irish Pub. If they're watching us at the Average Pub too, we'll say hi, and I want to talk about them later.
And I have
well.
something to discuss myself in a little bit.
Yes. But anyway, here we go. Kayla Logistics, where your business is our priority. Moving products you use every day across the country and around the world. Contact Frank Zambuto for all of your domestic and international logistic projects. Frank has over 20 years experience working with many name brand companies in the apparel, cosmetics, as seen on TV, and electronics industries. For trucking, air, and ocean cargo in all 7 continents, all you need is one solution. To all Cool Cat listeners, just mention our show, and Frank will offer a free cost and transit time analysis for all your cargo. When cost and time matter, we deliver. Frank Zambuto and Kayla Logistics, where your business is our priority. And you can reach Frank direct at 347-536-3933 and email him at frank@kaylalogistics.com. Frank is top in his field. He's just awesome at what he does.
And he's also an awesome person.
Yeah, and he knows tariffs. He knows everything. He knows the market. So he could help you get your business going in the right direction. So definitely give him a call. And thanks to Frank and his lovely wife, Sarah. And
Another wonderful human being.
yeah, we are pleased to welcome back Day 3 Botanicals. I have a story about them, too. They are well known for their organically grown full-spectrum hemp oil rich in CBD. It is wonderful for aches and pains, stress, anxiety, inflammation, and better sleep. The sublingual drops are easy to use once or twice a day or as directed by your healthcare professional. As promised, after months of trials and testing, Day 3 is proud to offer you their very own Hemp Supreme Pet Formula. A convenient-to-use liquid in a drop bottle that allows you to flavor your pet's favorite treat with a healthy, full-spectrum hemp oil to safely aid your pet's inflammation, aches, and pains, to relax and calm them, and help them sleep better at night. Visit day3botanicals.com to see their current lineup, and a new topical pain cream is coming soon, which I'm very excited about. And remember to use our exclusive Cool Cats 10 discount code to get 10% off your order at the time of checkout. Excuse me, still a little cough left. You can mix and match, and remember that all Day 3 products are organically grown in the United States, no foreign hemp oil or synthetic CBD. They make Day 3 products with your health and well-being in mind. Visit day3botanicals.com for current prices and complete product information. And remember to use the exclusive Cool Cats 10 discount code for all our listeners. Now, what I want to say about Day 3 is, remember I was talking about pets with anxiety, especially with loud noises, fireworks and stuff coming up. We did find someone to try it out.
Vera, right?
Yes. And we want to thank Vera for being on. See, I'm coughing because I'm thinking about it now. What happened was, and this is what I want to talk about Day 3. I've had a cough for a couple weeks now, and I cannot get rid of it. Dry cough. I've tried my typical things of vitamin C and echinacea. I've done over-the-counter stuff. I've tried Robitussin, Mucinex, Formula 44. Nothing was really doing anything. Believe it or not, I tried the CBD oil, and it calmed it down. Because I was reading that some of it's the inflammation of the bronchial tubes and stuff like that.
It's a miracle.
And it did, it suppressed my cough, and that in the combination of hot tea, brandy, and honey, little lemon, little ginger, that helped more in 2 days than 3 weeks of all the other stuff. So I'm going to give a shout out to Day 3 for that.
There you go.
And this I'll get into later. I have some other thanks to do for the new show, but here's a taste of the Newman Show. I'm going to go on a rant now for spoilers and people who like to spoil things.
Vanna White.
You are an asshole. That, I could understand people want to say, oh, it's not real, it's stupid fantasy movies, or it's comic books, grow up, it's like wrestling. It's not, first of all, because it's a movie. It's an action movie, and when you go to a movie, you are suspending disbelief. I don't think Captain Marvel and Iron Man are real people and their abilities are real, but I do like the movie.
Right.
And this is something that's been going on, it's been built up over 10 years. I just want to answer Steve. CBD oil is Day 3 Botanicals. They're a sponsor, and we tried it. They're awesome, so definitely check them out. But where I'm going with this is that you want to go to a movie, you don't want to know the ending.
Right.
So people that give spoilers are, I don't want to know what my gift is before I open it. If I was having a surprise party, I wouldn't want someone to tell me 3 months earlier. Sometimes that twist, the turns, there are some movies out there that are very well written and you don't know what's going to happen. There are some very predictable movies, but I don't want to know going in.
Right.
And I don't think anybody does. And just because someone ruins it for you, because that was the most common thing I saw, someone ruined it for me. So now people were going on every site posting spoilers about Endgame because it was ruined for them and gave the entire plot away. Some were completely lying, so if you read some, you don't know what's true, what's not.
Right.
But why do that? I just don't understand it.
I feel bad that people feel this need to, ruin other people's like joy. I've always said that life is short and shitty, and you should, find happiness wherever you can. And if it's through a movie, that's awesome.
But misery loves company. Miserable
misery
people
loves company
want to
for
make
sure.
everybody miserable with them. And it's, again, this is not like they ruined one movie. They ruined 10 years of movies, 11 years of movies if you spoil the ending for this. So, it was the same with Game of Thrones last night. And I fault everybody, including some Game of Thrones websites and Facebook pages, because they were posting spoilers like a half hour after the show was over.
Yeah.
Post, hey, tonight was crazy. Click here, warning, spoiler alert. Because some people do want to find out. There was a lot of open-ended things last night where you didn't know what was going on. Some people look for answers. They should be there. You're a site. You want people drawn to it. You want to be the first to report things, fine. But don't just put it out there for everyone to see if they don't want to see it.
Right.
Give them the teaser and let them click on your link to find it.
Right. I don't know. I was never one of those people to really get super upset at spoilers until Game of Thrones and Endgame, because they're so hyped up, and because they do close, not just a chapter, but the book. Like, you don't want that to be spoiled because you read something on social media.
And
that's such a letdown.
Some people think they're not posting spoilers, but it doesn't make sense if you haven't seen the movie. But to someone who has or knows the show, especially if you put R.I.P. so-and-so, you kind of know that person's going to die. Yeah, it doesn't make sense if someone doesn't watch it, but they don't care if you spoil it for them or not.
There was a couple of articles that popped up that were really interesting that I would just privately send to my husband so we could talk about it. I didn't post them. I didn't, like, if you follow me and you see what I like and whatever, you follow me, so I don't know what to tell you. But I'm not going to sit there and post it and advertise it and throw it in people's faces, because
that's why there are chats.
Right.
There is Facebook Instant Messenger. There are groups. You can group text. You can group message if you want to. I know, like Will, as soon as he saw, and he wasn't the only one. Some people, as soon as they saw Endgame, like when you see it, you want to talk about it, send me a message.
Yeah.
Because it was exciting, I mean, and it doesn't matter if it's a comic book movie, if it's a series. I mean,
it doesn't really matter what it is.
It's a documentary. You kind of know the ending already.
Right.
But if it's a horror movie or a well-written, snooty novel, nobody wants to know going in.
There are some people that enjoy that, though, and they enjoy, snuffing out other people's lights.
Yes.
And,
But again, that just makes them an asshole.
Oh yeah, they're totally an asshole. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that you can't sit there and expect people to be polite and not do it because they enjoy it.
Right.
There are people out there that really enjoy it, and that it's such a simple little thing that they could do to really bring somebody down. So.
But it's like going to a 5-year-old kid that's all excited about Christmas, going, there's no Santa and there's presents hidden in your mom's closet. And if you go in there, you'll find out you got the PlayStation 5. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense.
People suck.
And another problem I have are the elitists that I haven't seen one episode of Game of Thrones and I haven't seen one Marvel movie. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's actually
And here's
very
why.
annoying.
Because there's plenty of things that I haven't seen that I don't brag about. I have not seen Avatar, which used to be the most popular movie, but I think that's going to get its ass kicked right now.
It's been a while.
I haven't seen an episode of, Lost, 24. Trying to think of other popular shows that have been on that I haven't seen.
I think they get the point.
But I don't brag about it. It didn't seem, a couple that I haven't seen, which is kind of surprising, are Dexter and Lucifer, because that probably is up my alley. But until recently,
Actually,
I
yeah,
haven't
they
seen an
probably
episode
are
of Breaking Bad because I had no interest in seeing Breaking Bad. And then people told me how good it was, and I said, you know what, let me try it. And I did, and I got hooked on it. Now I'm in the final season. It's almost wrapped up for me there. So if you haven't seen any of it, you can't say whether you like it or not because you haven't seen any of it. If you watched a couple of movies or you watched a couple of episodes of Game of Thrones and just went, it's not for me, it's not for you, but I don't care.
Right.
And there are a lot of people who do enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And you know what? It's a lot more than everybody else, but the elitist, and the reason why I say that is because, hey, it's popular, so I don't want to do it. Well, then don't have sex either. A lot of people seem to enjoy it, so do yourself a favor and don't have it.
They're not going to advertise that one.
Yeah, where's that bragging? Hey, I don't have sex because everybody else is having it. Nobody cares.
I think it's just being able to find other people that aren't watching it either so they can have their own little clique and laugh about it. I don't really think it's about saying
No,
that I
some
don't,
are. Some are.
What
They
do you
just they
mean?
just brag about I don't watch that crap, but you don't know what it is. It's
Right.
horrible. But if you haven't seen it, you don't know it's horrible.
Right. I mean, but that.
If you watch something and you don't like it, then you could have an opinion on it. If you don't watch it, you can't have an opinion on it because you haven't seen it.
It's only become annoying for me. Like, I never cared about that stuff. You know, if you want to post about it, it's your Facebook. You want to post about it, post about it. But it only got annoying with Game of Thrones because it's the same people nonstop. They don't just post one casual status about it. It's like every day, sometimes several times a day, they're posting all these like anti-Game of Thrones.
Right.
So and that's just like, all right, we get it. You know, like, high five. You like, I don't know what you want. You want a cookie? You want a trophy? Like, what's the big deal?
I don't listen to new music because I'm more of a fan of older, like 80s stuff. But I don't brag about it. It's just not for me. If someone says, hey, check out the song, it's good, I'll check it out. And then I'll have an opinion on it.
Right.
But there's no reason to brag that I don't listen to new music. It's not for me. And you know, I said it years ago. MTV had their music awards, which is kind of ironic because they don't play any of these things.
I know.
But I watched all these people in their 30s and 40s and stuff bitch about how horrible the music is. I was like, well, congratulations, you just became your parents.
Yeah.
Because when we were watching it
It's a
at
cycle,
16, 17, going, this is awesome, and our parents were like, what's this crap?
Right.
Nobody writes original music anymore. I remember that song from when I was a kid
But
because people always redid
that's
songs.
the cycle. Something that I'm learning now that I'm a parent, you know, and Tony and I always joke about how we're old and whatever. But like all the songs from the 90s that I grew up with, I love because it clicks. I have a memory with that
Right.
song. You know, like the DJ at Dugan's Friday night will play like Backstreet Boys and the Spice Girls and the Macarena, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden my ass is like, yes, Macarena.
And,
You know,
and at
like
the
it
time,
brings
you probably
back.
hated some of that stuff.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But all these memories flood back. So that I understand. You know,
It's true. Songs are like, it's almost like a recorder.
Totally.
Like a song reminds you good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter, but it brings you back to something. If a song has
Absolutely.
meaning to you, it definitely brings you back.
absolutely.
And 30 years from now, the people that love this music today are going to hate the
I mean,
music
think
that's
about
out
the
then.
same 3 songs we played over and over and over at the pool hall and did karaoke.
Yes.
You know, like if they come on again, I could be at Stop and Shop wheeling with my daughter, and all of a sudden back that ass, you know, that's not gonna happen at Stop
Yeah.
and Shop. But you know what I'm saying?
You never
like,
know, though, because there
I
are certain
guess,
songs
yeah,
on
you
oldies
never
stations. I'm
know,
like,
all
wow, I
these
never would have
oldies.
expected this.
But you know, all these songs that we used to dance to at the pool hall that
Yeah.
you know were fun and were a big part of our experience at the pool hall.
Imagine hearing that like elevator music, at doctor's office.
I don't know why I picked that song. It's the first one that came to mind. But you know what I have heard in the grocery store? Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yeah.
I hear
And
that
that's
one
really,
a lot.
I mean, if you know
That's
what
one
that
that would
song's
have
about,
made more
it is
sense.
strippers, so.
Right.
Before this goes too far, Steve brings up a good point. He said, personally, I just enjoy watching the show, a movie, and what have you. I also love cosplay, but you'll notice people like to crap on people for it, so I just move on and say hell with them. And he just said, I've seen Game of Thrones on 2 shows, but I just never hooked into it because I'm more of a Walking Dead fan, but I think it just wasn't for me. Can't complain about it.
I do have to
Most of the
say-
music I like is between the late 50s to maybe some current, but I've enjoyed what's out there. And this shit, you know, I didn't watch Game. I think I picked it up about season 3, and they almost lost me. They really did, because it was so confusing. There were so many different subplots. But I went back to the beginning and I watched it, and it made so much more sense. Now I'm hooked again. And after last night,
Yeah. Well, I'm one
I
of
don't
those
want it
people.
to end now, and there's only 3 weeks left of it.
And this might
so.
drive some people that are really loyal to shows crazy. But, like, I can jump in the middle, you know, into like season 4 and just get summaries of the first 3 seasons and be totally content with that. I did that with a lot of shows.
You can with some. Game of Thrones, it's a little tough because there's so many references.
Well, I did that, and then I'll sit there and ask Tony
Yeah.
a million questions, and he kind of looks at me, and he's like, and he can answer them for me, but like, you know, now all of a sudden I'm talking during the entire show
Yeah.
because I have, you know, I only watched summaries.
So who's that guy? Why
Yeah.
is this? And
Why
why
is that relevant?
Didn't
You know,
they hate each other? Weren't
actually,
they trying to kill each other?
Good
Why are they-
example. I loved the Red Queen. I was like, she's so great, and Tony's like, she's actually a really bad person.
But is she?
And like,
that's the question. You
last
don't
night
get
I was
this-
like, she's a pest.
You know, in season 1, episode 1, you hated Jaime Lannister, and now he's a fan favorite. Not everybody likes him.
I don't know if
but
he's definitely not a favorite of
he,
mine.
He might not be of yours, but I'm telling you, a lot of people like him and they like his character.
But you know what? There's something really beautiful. You know, being someone that went to school for creative writing, character buildup is so important.
Yes.
And
they do it very well.
I have to say, it's, you know, from what I do know from the earlier seasons, the character buildup is
amazing. And the way that everything kind of has come full circle in certain situations and whatnot is very creative and really kept me on the edge of my seat. And like I said, like, spoilers usually don't bother me, but spoilers will bother me now. You know, like now I'm so excited, I'm so into it, which usually I'm very like, yeah, it's cool, whatever, sure, tell me the ending. But now I'm like, don't tell me the ending, don't talk to me, I want to know.
Yeah.
You know, Tony won't even watch the previews for the next episode.
I
don't want to interrupt. I see that my very good friend Frank just tuned in, and I want to say a good friend of ours is dealing with a bit of a hardship after getting really, really sick last year. So he has a
I'm not laughing at that. I
GoFundMe.
was just laughing at his comment.
Yeah, but it's all right. I back
It was
then I
bad
have to go to the
timing.
grocery store. Bad timing now. It's all right. He's going to post the GoFundMe link, you know, to help him out and ease some of the stress that he's been dealing with. I don't know if anybody. I don't want to mention his name, but you'll see it in the GoFundMe. He's a really wonderful person, and you know he deserves all the happiness and luck he can get. So if we can help him in any way, that would be great.
And again, this is not going to a fund that's going to filter money out of it. It's going direct.
It's going direct
So-
to the person that needs it because of, you know, a medical situation. And we all know how medical situations, you know, and the
Add up
bills.
fast.
Yeah, you know, it happened to me. You know, like I see it happen to other people.
I've been there
And it's
a couple times.
it's crazy. So, you know, if anybody could help, that would be fantastic. Frank posted the GoFundMe link. If you could want to just check it out, you know, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you, Frank.
I was going to say with Jamie, and this is not a spoiler for last night, but going back to the beginning of last week or whatever it was, when Jamie was standing in front of the council and Daenerys was saying how she and her brother used to fantasize about killing the man
Killing
who killed
him.
their father, and he stood there and he took it, and
It's also to be
basically,
expected too. I'm noticing a lot of these characters are pretty like chill, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
The fact that there's such violent histories between the families, and you know they have fantasies about killing each other, and now all of a sudden because of, you know, this one situation they're all coming together and
but he went specifically because he gave his word.
Right.
He knew he was going to be hated there because he knew the Starks hated him because of what he did.
But I also think that he saw how
And it wasn't he didn't know they knew about Bran at that point, but
Right.
even the other stuff he's done to the Starks, he fought Ned in the square. But with that, I mean, he showed his honorable
But I also
qualities
think-
and his loyal qualities. Because don't forget, when he was fighting Ned, he wanted to kill him.
right.
And when the guy stabbed his leg from behind, I think he killed the guy that did it, and he wouldn't do anything after that. He let him go because he wanted a fair fight.
But he
Unlike Cersei,
he did
who
always
finished him
seem
off.
relatively, I don't want to say relatively fair because he also did a lot of shitty things, but you know, I think that he really started to see how evil Cersei is,
Yes.
and I think
I
that's
mean, yeah, that's
I think
developed
that's
over
what
the seasons, too.
what really
But
pushed
outside
him.
of pushing Bran out the window, most of the stuff he did for loyalty to his family or what he
The
thought
Bran
was
thing,
right.
though, like
The Bran thing was
for me,
ma- it was
that's a
raw.
major,
It was a bit-
major
it-
fuck up.
It was, but Bran forgave them, and the reason why is because that's what set him on his journey to become the Three-Eyed Raven.
Right.
It had happened,
But,
and-
would
but he
have
kinda
Bran,
called him out
would
on
have
it.
Bran forgiven him if he wasn't the Three-Eyed
Probably
Raven?
not.
Right.
But I like how he
Right.
called him out on it because when he goes, "I'm sorry for doing that," he goes, "You weren't at the time."
Yeah, I do like that about Bran.
But with Jamie, when they were mentioning the things he did, you know, people forget why he was a King Slayer. The Mad King was killing everybody, and then asking him to be burned, and he wasn't stopping, and nobody could stop him.
Right.
So Jamie did. That was like the one time he turned against his mission, so to speak, for the greater good of the people.
Right.
And he was attacked for it because they said he was a coward. I think they said he stabbed him from behind or whatever. We don't know. I don't know if we actually know the full story of what happened yet, because there's a lot of theories on why the Mad King went mad. But outside of that, he goes, "If you're expecting me to apologize, I won't," which shows how honorable he is. He goes, "I did what I did for my family,
That is true.
and I gave my word, so that's why I'm here." And then, you know, of course, the fuck loyalty line, which Brienne said to him, which he kind of repeated there, but he honored his word. And technically, Cersei was going to kill him, or at
Cersei
least said she
sucks.
was, but she didn't. But he's technically a traitor now. I don't think he's going to be welcome.
Absolutely not. But
So
I also don't
he's
think.
got to kind of join forces with them
I
now.
also don't think that
And
he
even
wants
asked.
to go back.
He went out there, he took all the beatings and all the attacks, and even when Bran said he wasn't going to say anything, he goes, well, what happens when it's over? He knows he pretty much went there to die, and he
Yeah.
didn't care.
Right.
And he did it to save
And
as many people as
I
he
don't think
could.
he wants to go back to Cersei. I think
No.
that he went there knowing
He knows
whether
that
he
she's
lived
evil.
or died.
And Tyrion said that to him, and that was last week also. So
That
again,
was
it's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
He goes, "I didn't know," and he goes, "No, you've always known."
And I loved that. I
Yeah.
loved that.
But anyway, basically that the writing of that, because we're talking about character development, but even like
And that's,
storylines,
character development
stuff
is so
from,
important.
and again, episode 1, when Bran got thrown out the window, led us to last night,
Yeah.
and that was planned well in advance. How things were going to come at the end. Tony said Jamie had some of the best character development of any character, and I agree. And you know, he saved Brienne too.
I think
He didn't have to.
I think Sansa had the best character development.
Well, he said some of the best. He didn't say the best.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of people who made big turns around. Sansa being one of them. And even though I don't like her and I don't trust her, I
like
think
her.
she's going to win the Game of Thrones. I still do.
I hope so. You know, I have
A short list of people that I would like to see win and people that I would like to see lose.
and she's definitely on the winning side. Actually, the short list of people I want to see lose, it's really just Cersei.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that would be the real kill. If Cersei ends up winning this whole thing, it would just.
I'll be like a little kid.
It'd be like the ending of The Sopranos. Like, no,
I'll
you can't end like that.
So mad. I will be very disappointed.
But there's not a lot of characters, and you can name some. Brienne being one, Arya being another, even though she's had some moments too. Nobody's really
She's
been
had great character
consistently
development too,
good.
Arya.
Or
Yeah.
bad for that matter. Cersei's been consistently bad, but I'm just saying, as a whole, a lot of characters went through
Well,
changes.
a lot of characters that are left. Like
Like,
Joffrey was shit from day one.
And again, I don't want to say this now. Maybe we'll say it later because I don't want to go back to the Red Queen because of whatever. Yeah, there might be a short king. That's a possible too. There's a lot of rumors that Tyrion is the third head of the dragon, the other Lannister. So
I don't
he
see
would
it happening,
have
though.
He would have rights to the throne.
Absolutely. But there's still, and I don't want to say it, but there's still so much up in the air and all these
Yes,
things
there
that can
is.
happen.
And
but that's why
we'll
it's such a
save some of
good
that for later,
show.
too.
It's such
Yeah.
a good show because it leaves you with so many questions and then it still manages to tie the loose ends and answer any questions you have. It's a good show.
And you realize everybody that hates Game of Thrones and Marvel has tuned us out like 20 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
But hey, you know what? It's one of the Endgame. A lot of people are saying it's the best movie they've ever seen of any type of movie. And the Game of Thrones episode last night said it was the best TV show they've ever seen. They're actually
Oh, it's the Red Witch.
Yeah, it is the Red Witch.
Thank you, V.
Uh,
I don't know why I thought it was Red Queen.
I was just following with you because she might have been a queen at some point. I don't know. But there's actually comparisons between the two, between Endgame and the episode of Game of Thrones
well,
last night.
the
because
timing was perfect.
It was just it
Don't
was
say
a rough
anything about
weekend for a
Endgame.
lot of people. There's going to be
Don't say anything about Endgame.
There's probably going to be a lot of support groups.
I'm
that
going
made the
on
joke
Saturday.
No, I made the joke early that people are probably want to use bereavement days this week because it was just such a trying weekend.
Tony said
of
that to me
things.
last night. He's like, I wish I could take tomorrow off because it was just such a wild ride.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
And if you thought that was a wild ride, wait till you see Endgame.
Stop!
I'm not giving spoilers, but this is all stuff that was known that it was leading up to this crazy roller coaster
This
of
is
a
true.
finale.
Well, Tony and I have been rewatching Captain America, as you know, is my favorite, and the first, Avengers, one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite
Right.
Marvel movie. And we rewatched it the other day, and I was just sitting there, like, all these things going through my head about, like, the what ifs and what's going to happen when we get to see Endgame on Saturday. But, the Marvel movies, too, is amazing, the way everything comes full circle and the way everything connects, and it's very fun.
Well, Frank said
What are we
you're the
laughing
Red
at?
Queen. I thought we were talking about tea.
I like
Tea,
that.
you took off today? I meant to ask you, where did you cry more, during Endgame or during Game of Thrones last night? Oh, she took off. That's right. She took off Friday to go see the movie. That's what you meant.
Did you see the article that said some woman was hospitalized for crying?
Crying too much. Yes, I did see that. And did you
I don't
see
know if
about
I
the guy that
believe
got
that.
his ass kicked
No.
because apparently on the way out he was telling spoilers.
Oh, what a dick.
So he got jumped and they beat the shit out of him. So
Well, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
no, it's a tough one. I will admit I'm cold-hearted. I did not shed any tears during either movie.
I could see myself crying during Endgame no matter what happens because I have became so attached to so many characters and
Yeah.
you know the movies, the Marvel movies as a whole, you know, and I'm not as invested as other people, like, you know, but I'm invested just enough.
There was a couple moments of excitement that I had in both movies where I was like holding in a yeah. But
that was
even
me
last night, I was home alone. I could have screamed out yeah if I wanted to. Actually, I could have in the
I did.
movie.
Tony, didn't I? I literally screamed out yeah and went like this.
And there was more than one chance to do that last
Absolutely.
night.
Yeah, there's a million chances.
You know what? Let's steer off this for a little bit because I do want to talk about Game
I
of
don't
Thrones
want
last
to
night.
slip and be a hypocrite and give a
So
spoiler.
before we give spoilers about last night, we will give plenty of warning. So we're going to change topics right
I'm not
now.
going to give warning because I might slip.
I want to talk. The next week is going to be the debut of the Newman Show,
Yes.
and
I'm very excited for you.
I want to thank Fred Watkins, who Jay put me on to. Our friend Jay, who has his own shop, Felon for Life.
Yeah.
Does a lot of motorcycle repairs. I'm hoping to have him on as a sponsor soon as well. But I want to talk about Voodoo Hound Graphic Art and Design. Check him out. He's been helping me out so much in the process, spent a lot of time on the phone with me, messaging back and forth. I expected a logo. I've gotten tons of logos, different ideas, some motion logos, things for T-shirts, and we're still going. And, you know, I could see
That's
a
cool.
relationship building. Plus, he, I don't know if he owns a gun store, but he's definitely very into guns. I know he trains and stuff like that. He's a big Second Amendment guy, so I'm hoping to have him on as a guest at some point. It would have to be a phone-in because he's not from here. I don't know if it says on here where he's from. I think he's in Virginia, I want to say. I could be way off. If Jay or Fred's listening, you can tell me. But, yeah, check him out. He's got a Facebook page. You go to facebook.com, Watkins, Watkins, Graphic Art Design. Or you go to Voodoo Hound Services, look that up, Voodoo Hound Firearm Services. The guy he knows his stuff. He's very good. And my first guest, I did get her. It was the one I wanted. I wanted to talk about some serious topics as well as fun stuff. You know, each week is going to depend. It's going to be topic driven, so it's going to depend on the topic of the guest, how serious
Right.
it's going to be. And I want to talk about bail reform. It's a very, very serious issue that a lot of people don't know about and really should.
Bond reform? What'd you say?
Yeah, like bail bonds.
Bail reform.
So bail reform. I said bond.
I don't know what
But,
you said.
I meant bail. But I have Michelle Esquenazi, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, from Empire Bail Bond. She's very knowledgeable about the subject. So she's going to come on and explain
That's awesome.
exactly what it is and talk about why bail is necessary and why low bail or no bail is not a good thing for people and the breakdown of it. I also want to promote, because I've gone weeks without it. Oh, first, I want to thank Cyclone for what he's done. And you got to listen to his show. He's on right before us from 7 to 8 in the Cage with Cyclone. I always forget to mention him. I forget to mention my comedy shows. So May 15th, I will be at the Greenwich Comedy Club. So I need people to come out in the city on a Wednesday night. I know that's tough. The following Wednesday, we're going to be back at the Irish Pub.
Awesome.
It was a good night for Sean there, so he definitely wanted to do it again.
Awesome.
So we
I love
are.
it.
And then Friday, May 24th, I may or may not enter another contest. It's kind of like the contest I just did, except it's in Mount Sinai.
Oh,
So I need people to go for it to be worthwhile, because if I can't win the contest, I'm not going to waste my time going out there and
Right.
entering it. So if you could go to Barton's Place in Mount Sinai on Friday, May 24th, and potentially June 15th, which is another Friday, please let me know. So I got that out of the way.
There you go.
See, Supernatural's another show I haven't seen, so I'm
I
better
haven't
than
seen
you.
it either, and everybody I know is obsessed with it.
Yeah, I hear it's just tough because what I do now is I prefer binge watching because it's so much easier.
Yeah, I like it too.
So once Breaking Bad is done for me, which probably will be by tomorrow, then maybe I'll take on the next thing. But there's so many good shows out there. Like I heard Lucifer's awesome.
I can't get into it.
No?
No,
All right.
and I feel like everybody would expect me to be able to get into it.
That's what I think it is with me too.
Tony's really into it, and he'll get like frustrated because I'll ask him to shut it off because I get bored. But I'm really into like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the new one. I think it's like
That's good. I
The
started
Adventures
watching
of
that,
Sabrina.
and I didn't. I stopped, so I got to go back and catch that.
I watched it. I watched it twice. I watched both seasons
I like
twice
the girl
already.
that plays Sabrina. She's awesome. She
I really enjoy the entire show. Like Tony will make fun of me because like he'll come home from work and be like, "You're watching Sabrina again," but like it's such an interesting, spooky show.
It's a different type of Sabrina, but like Melissa Joan Hart was my Sabrina.
Well, it's mine too, but like I grew up watching
Didn't
that on
expect to
Friday
like
night.
this Sabrina, but she nails it.
I
She
knew
really does.
I knew 110% I was going to like
I don't
this
know
Sabrina.
the girl's name, but she's awesome. The show was awesome.
You know why I knew I was going to like it? Because it's absolutely nothing like Sabrina the Teenage Witch from the 90s.
Right.
And not you can't even compare the two other than
No.
the storyline of her living with her aunts. You know, like it's very, very good.
Oh, I missed it. V asked me a question. Has there ever been any movies where I shed a tear? No.
Really?
Maybe Lethal
Not
Weapon when they shot Riggs and they started playing on Knocking Heaven's Door. I got
cry
close.
over Disney movies.
But
My daughter
I-
will be
I'm
asleep in
not-
my arms and I'm sitting there crying over like Sleeping Beauty. I can't help it.
I don't really cry in movies. Like I don't get scared in haunted houses. Nothing's really got me yet.
Yeah, we both know that I can't handle haunted houses.
V actually did very well. I was surprised when she filmed it. I thought it would just be her screaming the entire time, but she actually did it pretty well.
V's tough.
She's usually not good in stuff like that, though. Yeah, she was pissed when Fox canceled Lucifer and was happy
Yeah, but
that
Netflix picked it up.
Steve said Supergirl from Sundays is good. I started watching that, and then I get away from that too, so I have to go back. Because it wasn't that I didn't like it. I just got caught up in other stuff, and I forgot about it.
I tried to watch a couple of new shows on Netflix, and I was disappointed by both. There's a show called Chambers that I was really bored by, and a show called, I think, Mercy Black that I think was too, like, cliche. Like, I just couldn't get into it.
Frank said he cries during his wedding video.
Frank, you're a dick.
And Tony says Riverdale is good
Riverdale
too, which
is-
I've heard good things about.
Riverdale is really good. Actually, it took me a really long time to get into Riverdale, and then once I got into it, I was hooked.
And that's the thing. If a season starts slow and,
And
you're watching
apparently
it
there's
every
supposed
week,
to be, I know that in the comics there's a Riverdale, Greendale, Sabrina
yeah.
crossover in the comics. So I wonder if they're ever going to pull that into the show.
I heard they were planning on doing that. like the
that would be
crossover.
fucking so cool.
Because I heard this Riverdale is actually pretty dark.
It's very
So
dark
I
and
gotta
it's
check
very,
it out.
very good. There was a couple the fact that it keeps going, at one point it's like it recycles the same kind of stuff, but it's still very, very good, and I like it.
I'll have to check that out. And that's what Luke Perry was on, right?
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah.
But I think that they did a lot to honor his memory, and they gave the cast, X amount of time to mourn as well as rewrite
Right.
whatever
That's
he was
good.
in. So
Yeah, the old Steve said he likes watching the older shows, like Shazam on Saturday morning cartoons from back in the day. I like stuff like that too. Captain Caveman. Give me a Captain Caveman movie. That's what I want.
what is Captain Caveman?
I'll send you a clip. It's hard to describe it.
Fair enough.
Not that you'll watch it.
I probably won't watch it now.
I know some people out there know exactly what I'm talking about when I say Captain Caveman. Captain Caveman. But yeah, there's a lot of good shows out there, and I just hope that. Well, Marvel seems to get it right. I know that they're
absolutely.
switching directions now, and they're looking for new movies. I mean, obviously, there's another Spider-Man coming out, and they already talked about the Black Widow prequel, I guess you would call it. Her own movie, like that shows how she became who she was. I know they did Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is back on track.
Oh, good.
So what's going to happen with, the future, the new stuff? I don't know, but I hear stuff like rebooting the Fantastic Four and X-Men.
Tony and I actually had a conversation about the Fantastic Four last night, and I mean, if they reboot it,
Do you know what? There's so many comics I haven't even touched yet. Why reboot? Especially with the Fantastic Four, you're going to reboot a reboot of a reboot. And I understand now that Disney owns everything. They want to try to make everything their own, and because it was Sony, it was this, that.
but
and
and
the
I
other
also,
thing.
but Disney also hasn't disappointed me yet.
No, you know, it's
know,
funny because
they do
I was a little
everything
upset when they
right.
took Star Wars over, and then I watched it and it was an actual very good movie, and that's ending this year too.
And it's also, so after I had my daughter, I got really into Disney.
Disney's really dark. If you watch their movies and read between the lines, even though they're
Yeah.
children movies, they're very dark.
But I've been getting very much into Disney. Everybody that knows me well makes fun of me for it because it's very anti-Disney for so long. But they're very smart, and you know, I see a lot of people post about being at the parks. They're making churros to look like lightsabers. Like they're doing a lot of fun things, which, you know,
It's funny, they talk about a Mickey Mouse operation, but probably one of the best run companies in the world is Disney.
absolutely.
They knew when they bought the land in Florida before they built the park. Why? Because the land was worthless.
Right.
And then once they put a park up, it's almost priceless. They
Right.
own the water towers, which is why they're shaped like Mickey. They bought utilities. They knew what they were doing.
I took a whole college course on Disney, and it was one of the most fascinating courses
Really?
I've ever taken.
So
And it was
I wouldn't mind doing that too. 'Cause they knew what they were doing.
It was so interesting. I still think about it. You know, every time I watch one of the movies, I did, you know, a term paper on The Princess and the Frog, you know, like, which was a very interesting thing to write about because you're writing about a children's
Right.
movie, but you're supposed to like dive deep and whatever. But learning about Disney and everything that they own, which is
Almost everything now.
But at the time when I
They
took the
bought
class
so
10
many
years
things
ago,
over the last 10 years.
it was still everything, you know?
Yeah.
So now they just really, but, you know, Disney has a certain type of quality that they put out, you know?
Right.
That's what they're known for. And I haven't been disappointed with a movie yet.
I
you
think
know?
they were the first ones to do like limited release of big movies and then
Yeah.
pull it out where you couldn't get it at all anymore.
Yeah.
Which
The Vault.
made their tapes worth so much more. The VHS
Brilliant.
tapes.
That's
and when they
brilliant.
re-released it, everybody ran out to buy them because they think that maybe that version will be worth something, and they knew it was going to be limited edition again.
I've been buying stuff for my daughter. That's Disney limited edition stuff for her birthday coming up, whatever. And this stuff sells out like that, and then all of a sudden the next day it's on eBay for twice as much.
Right.
I mean, if you miss, stuff will go on clearance on shopdisney.com, like, because now I'm that mom, and I'll go to buy it, it will be gone, and it will be on eBay for double the original retail price.
And
it
now
blows my mind.
They're starting their own channel
And
with
people
Disney
buy
Plus,
it. Brilliant.
which is why Netflix canceled all the Marvel. They may or may not bring those back, but they have future plans. They already talked about having Scarlet Witch and Vision, Loki series.
This is Netflix?
No, Disney
this
Plus.
is Disney.
V, if you can post the other ones, there's like a bunch of them they already have planned to put out. Tony said we need a Captain Planet reboot.
I loved Captain Planet. I was obsessed
Yeah.
with that as a kid.
Emergency Plus 4 was a decent cartoon offshoot from the drama series. I don't remember that one. I remember Emergency, the actual drama. I don't remember the cartoon. But yeah, there's so many good things out there, and I'd like to see him, instead of keep going backwards, go forwards.
I agree
Like
with that.
with Spider-Man, they rebooted him so many times. Stick with this one now. Just move forward. I know
I agree
they're
with
planning
that.
on it with Far From Home. I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. WandaVision, that's what it is. With Scarlet, Wanda Maxima, and Hawkeye's going to get his own series. So they already have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was the one I couldn't think of. So they're already planning all these Marvel
so many.
ones. Plus it's not just Marvel stuff they're putting out. They got so many
They're
other
putting
things.
a lot out, yeah.
But I like that they're changing it, and then they're going to go back and see, hey, do we want to reboot the Marvel series? The Netflix Marvel series. Like, were they good? What was doing well? We're going to put another episode
There
of Luke Cage out.
There
Another
are
season of Luke
two.
Cage.
I
or-
love Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones is good. I haven't finished that either. I got to go back and finish that.
And I love Punisher.
Punisher was good, and Netflix I don't get either. They have good series now. I understand the Marvel thing, but Santa Clarita Diet was good. I just get V into it. She catches up on it, and they cancel it.
I got lost. I was really into the first season, because I also
The
love
second season did get a little crazy.
I
but
love
it's-
iZombie, and when the season that I was watching was over, I was like, what now? And everybody told me to watch that, and I watched the first season. I was really into it, and then by the second season, I was bored of it.
Yeah,
I was over it.
don't know,
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, I don't know what it was for me.
The first season,
that
I will
lost
say,
me.
I liked the first season much better than the second season. just because it was new and the second season you kind of expected things.
I don't really know what it was that lost me. I don't know if it's seeing Drew Barrymore and that kind of character that I couldn't grasp onto it.
That's why
I'm
I
not-
almost didn't watch it to begin with, but that's part of what I liked.
I ended up really liking her
Yeah.
in that character, but I lost interest in the show.
It happens.
It does. But there are shows that I'm going to
Oh,
miss.
Tony said they're going to have a Star Wars series on Disney too, which is
see, that's awesome.
genius. 'Cause
They're
jump on
brilliant.
it. Jump on it.
They're brilliant.
That's all they need. The Star Wars and Marvel series that will keep that channel going.
Yeah.
Because I know as much as I like Cobra Kai and as many fans as it has, it started as YouTube Red, now it's YouTube whatever. I don't think people are just going to buy something just for that.
No.
But you start throwing a bunch of big things, and what I like about what the Marvel series tries to do, like Tom Hiddleston is going to play Loki. So you're getting the Loki from the movies
That's
and
cool.
the TV series. They like
That's
to
very
keep
cool.
continuity between the TV shows,
Cohesiveness.
the Netflix series, and the movies. Now I'm sure they're going to keep that with the Disney stuff.
I appreciate that a
Oh,
lot.
they're going to be mistakes, obviously. You have so many different writers, so many different years of stuff, but now you have these things that are just lining up perfectly.
Yeah.
And if you get the same
That
actors
is
playing
very
the role.
cool. I like that. I'm looking forward to it. I think that they're brilliant. They're going
Steve
to do a
just
lot
gave
of
us
stuff.
a shout out. Thanks for supporting him.
Oh, I
Anytime,
love you,
Steve.
Steve.
Hopefully it all goes
I hope
well.
it works out. I hope we can help you out a little bit.
And V, if you could jump on that too and post that, and I'll share it on my page
Love
later.
you.
But yeah, we'll go a couple more minutes and then we'll give our review of last night's Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
which I'm actually excited. You know what? You want to just do it now?
Yeah, fuck it.
For
We'll
anyone
keep
that didn't see
talking about
Game of Thrones last night, we will see you
Spoiler
next
alert.
week. I know you're going to tune out or whatever, but for the people who did see it, stay tuned because now this is a spoiler alert.
Now I
You-
can slip and not worry about it.
You're being fair warned that we are going to talk about Game of Thrones from last night and what happened last night. So by now, if you didn't tune out, sorry. We'll start out slow and before we get into the big stuff. How crazy was last night?
Oh my God, I was at the edge of my seat the entire time. I was literally sitting there like this, like I was like, it was crazy. I have not been into a show like that in so long. And it was so fun. My anxiety I needed some day 3. Like my anxiety was through the roof.
See, now that's why I wanted to say before about the Red Witch before I forget.
I can't believe I kept calling her the Red Queen.
Tony was saying she was a bad character. Is she though? Her goal was to get everyone
didn't
where they needed to
necessarily- he
be
didn't
to
say
defeat the Night King.
He didn't say that she was bad. Like I was
She
talking
did
about how
bad
much
things
I
though. She did
loved
really
her.
bad things, but she did them for the right reasons. Like killing the girl. Trying to she burnt her. That's what it was because they were trying to get the blood. V, help me out. What was that girl's name? It was Baratheon's daughter. Because she felt he was a king. She had the blood of the king, and she was trying to do what she was doing. She did take Gendry,
Watching her last night was badass.
but she was doing it specifically for this moment to get her there to help them defeat the Night King.
Did she know? I totally
That's
did.
it,
I totally
yeah.
did a victory pose at the end of the show last night. I flipped out.
Sheeran. Leeches.
Oh, the
on Gendry.
leeches.
Yeah, because she was misdirected with certain things, but as bad as she was, she did bring back Jon Snow. He wasn't happy about it, but he was needed. Everything.
Did she see into the future because she knew so much and that little
She did. She
that
had
little
prophecies.
pep talk that she gave Arya that was so necessary. And it didn't, when she was talking about it, it didn't click to me what was happening. I figured she was just basically giving her like you got this, like
Yeah.
a pep talk. I didn't think it was going to lead to where it led
Well, she
to.
had prophecies, and she said that the thing with prophecies is they're not always clear. So she has made some mistakes and did the wrong thing, but she did it because she was trying to bring the Lord of Light
Right.
to help everybody get to where they need to get, because she knew the battle was coming. She told Arya when she first met her, you're going to close a lot of eyes, which she did mention last night.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
And then she goes, and blue,
Yep.
which was like and what do we say to the God of Death? Not like she knew what she was doing. Stannis' daughter, that's right, Stannis Baratheon with the grayscale on her face. She basically killed her, or had people kill her,
Right.
which
Didn't she give birth to like a demon?
Yes, she did. But this was all stuff that, seemed evil at the time, but now you understand what she was trying to do. That's why Beric, or whatever his name is, kept coming back from the dead, because his job was to help save Arya to get her where she needed to be last night.
Let's just talk about the Hound for a second and how he totally wimped out until he saw Arya.
I was going to bring that up too, because he's one of the biggest badasses that's been consistent from day one. And when I saw him, I don't want to say cowering, but just giving up.
He wasn't cowering.
Because he did. He was breathing. He was tired.
Definitely like, fuck this.
He was taking his breath, and then he's just like, what's the point?
There was no...
What's the point?
Because I feel like that kind of character has nothing to live for except fighting, and then he realizes that he was just going to...
There was no fight.
There was, it wasn't,
As much as they did, they were just getting infiltrated. Everybody was getting taken out. There was no hope. And he even said to Beric, you can't beat death.
Yeah.
And that was, to me, that was like the pivotal point of the night. It was a great... it was already exciting, but when he said you can't beat death, he goes, yeah, tell her that.
Yep.
It was like, boom, that was like a yeah moment. That was one of the ones I was like, that's right.
Hell yeah. And that was definitely a moment where I was like, all of a sudden you see him kind of like wake up out of his, being a wimp, and then it's like, just starts
then he
doing
started
his
wheeling
thing
that
and
axe and kicking everybody's ass again.
Yeah, and that was cool. And I really like his relationship with Arya and how they fucking hated each other, but they love each other.
There was a mutual respect at the same time. As much as they both hated each other, well, I don't think he really hated her.
You know what I mean?
But she did hate him.
Yeah.
She wanted him dead. She tried to kill him, and
he
was like almost like a father figure to her. Like,
yeah.
No, don't go there. Go for the whole, and all the lessons that she had from Jon telling her to stick him with the pointy end to the work with no one.
Right.
Was leading her to what needed to be done last night.
Right.
And she needed them all.
Yep.
But it was great when she went out there with a new weapon. It was just like messing everybody up. Then it got to the point where she was overwhelmed. And that was like, oh my God.
Can you imagine?
Now, I knew, of course, certain people had to survive because there's still 3 episodes left.
Right.
But it was like, wow, who's going to get out of this?
That was one of the coolest parts of the show, that you're like, there's still 3 episodes left. Who's going to live? Who's going to die?
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening?
Yes. V said he's definitely afraid of fire because of what the mountain did to him as a kid. But don't forget, when he was going around with Beric and that crew, and they made him look into the fire, he started getting
the idea of it.
I don't think he was afraid of the fire at all last night.
I don't think he was either.
He just gave up.
I don't think he was afraid of the fire at all last night.
Just like when Brienne beat him.
Yeah.
He's like, kill me. He told Arya, kill me. I'm done. He gave up. He lost.
I think that he's just a miserable person. So, he only lives because he's a miserable person. I think that he only lives because he has to. And, it was nice to see him come to, spark up for Arya. We
only have a couple minutes, but the littlest badass of them all, Lyanna Mormont.
Yes, I already know what you're going to say.
Goes right for the giant.
Yes.
She was not playing around. She was like, I'm going for it. Gets flicked, and then she still gets up and was like, rah, goes right for him again. And, unfortunately, well, she took him out, though. I mean, that giant could have taken everybody out.
Totally.
And she did what she had to do. Big shock to me, Daenerys. She was wielding that sword like Jon Snow.
But you know what? She had to.
She had to. But Sansa had to, and she was like, I don't know what to do. I can't do this.
But it's a fight or flight.
Tyrion kind of gave her, a little motivation.
It's a fight or flight thing, and I think
Samwell sat there and was, Jorah went out and saved her, but he was overwhelmed. So she was like, okay, I'm going to pick up a sword. We're going to fuck these guys up. Like, she just got right into it.
The end, he was there for her. And that was.
And you could tell her heart really broke.
Well, when the dragon went over them, I was I melted. I melted into the couch.
But it wasn't that Dany fought, it was how well she fought. Because I didn't even think she got hit. She was like with Jon Snow when he went down and saw the Night King and went after him. And the Night King raised all the dead. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna just kill. That was Daenerys. I mean, those two that would be, if they ever did have a sword fight, which who knows, that would be a battle. It would be a battle.
A lot can happen in the next 3 weeks.
And we got 1 minute left, so I just want to say that move at the end by Arya, I expected her to do
Blew
it, but I didn't expect it that way. I
my
thought one of like the walkers, she was gonna stab him and then pull the face off. But
blew my freaking mind.
anyway, that's it. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but wham, what an episode. That was great. I will see you next week with the Newman Show.
See me
I
in
will
a
be here
month.
with Michelle. We'll see her in a month, hopefully with Will, and we'll wrap up Endgame and everything else. And take care. Have a good one.
Bye, guys. It's been real.